Hello everybody, welcome to Erndales. My name is Dale and this is my YouTube channel, and today we are going to be talking about stitching, all kinds of stitching. And I thought it would be kind of fun to take you back to my stitching journey from the beginning. And I'm 67 years old and I've been stitching. I think I started I learned how to embroider when I was just a child. My mom was a leader of a girls group. It was a Christian girls group called Explorers from United Church of Canada. And one of the things that you had to do to earn your little stars or badges was you had to learn how to knit. And so we all knit squares, and then my mother would put them together and make afghans or little lap quilts and things like that, and we would donate them to women's shelters. And then we also had to learn how to embroider. And those two things that I learned at that time, I think I was 7, 8 years old when I started both of those activities, have stuck with me all my life. So I was embroidering, tea towels and things like that when I was a child. And then when I got into my early teens, I found needlework. And it was wonderful for me because I absolutely latched onto this, no pun intended. And I remember going into a big department store used to have here called Eden's, and they had a whole, I don't remember what floor it was on. It was an 8-floor building. And they went in and they had a whole section on needlework. And you could go in there and any kind of needlework that you wanted to do, they would have not so much patterns, but kits, or I guess they did have patterns too, but they had the raw materials. So you would have, like, for needlework, I'm talking about not cross stitch. I'm talking about the needle point, I guess you would call it. They would have the piece hanging on a hanger, and then most of it was stamped, so you didn't have to count it or anything. It was all stamped. And then beside it, you would have rows and rows and rows of boxes of the yarns or the wools for those, because you used wools for needlepoint. And so you would take your piece, whatever you decided on, and my first needlepoint was Pinky and Blue Boy. I'm really dating myself, but everybody did Pinky and Blue Boy back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. And so I had done both of them. And then I got into petite point, which was really, really small needlepoint. And then I got into crewel. And there was really, cross stitch wasn't like it is now. Cross stitch was on a stamped piece of muslin or calico or whatever it was, and you would cross stitch it on there. Big cross stitches. And so those kind of cross stitch kits, there was lots of those too, but I didn't really do those because I did the stamped embroidery thing. But it was needlepoint that started me, and rug hooking as well. Needlepoint and rug hooking were very similar because the canvas was very similar. So I did both of those. And I actually, when I was in high school, I worked at a craft store. What a wonderful thing that was. And so we sold a lot of this stuff. So I would get, I don't know if I got a 40% discount or whatever, but I hauled home all this stuff. And I learned a lot of those crafts working at that store, because there wasn't actually a woman there who was a teacher, and she would hold craft classes every evening and teach all this stuff. And so I worked with her and she taught me. I didn't have to go to the classes because she would teach me, oh, here's what we're doing tonight and this is how you do it, and here's a kit, go ahead and try it. And so this is how I learned all these things. So I thought that it would be kind of interesting to go over the process of some of these pieces. Now, I don't have any of my needlework, like the needle point. That's all gone. And I did a lot of it back in the day. But I don't think, I haven't got one piece of it, which is kind of too bad. I wish I had now. Now that I'm at this stage in my life, I wish that I had kept at least one of those, but I did not. But I do have a piece of my crewel work. So I'll show you the crewel. Now crewel is just like embroidery, same stitches, except that you use the wool, the big thick wool from needlepoint. So this is the only piece of crewel work that I still have. I'll come up as close as I can. And I did many, many crewel work pieces, but this is the only one that I kept. And I just have it mounted on a piece of canvas. It used to be framed, but I kind of like it this way better. So this was, and I did this probably around 1974-ish, I would think. It was a kit, everything came with it, and you just, you stitched it and framed it. And then after needlepoint, first came embroidery on cotton, then came needlepoint, then came crewel, and then came counted cross stitch. That was around in the 80s. Counted cross stitch became really popular. And I started just with little ornaments, fridge ornaments that, you know, you could make for somebody and put them on their fridge. And then I started getting into bigger pieces. And then I started buying books with patterns. And back in those days, most of the counted cross stitch was done on 14 count Aida. So a lot of the books that I still have are, they're written for 14 count Aida. And I have a few that I can show you that I did. I have kept a few of those as well. So one of the pieces that I did was from this book, Quilt Designs and Cross Stitch by Vanessa Ann Collection. It's from, I don't know when this book was written. Lots of times these books don't have a date stamp on them. Oh, 1989, this is book from the Sedgwood Press. And this is the piece that I did. It is a letter alphabet done in quilting. Each alphabet is a little quilt. Each letter is a little quilt, I mean. So it's called, what's it called? The Sampler of Quilts. And so here is my piece. It's heavy. Here's my piece. It's all shadowy. I'm very sorry about that. So this is done on 14 count Aida. And I have it framed in a shadow box frame. See, it's a shadow box frame. I actually had this frame from another piece. I used to also do a lot of paper towel, and I'll do another video on that. And in this big, huge frame, I had done an eagle. And I had it framed in here. And when one of my moves, the eagle got destroyed. And anyway, this is bow cross stitch. This has faded quite a bit over the years. I did this probably around, I'd say 1989, 1990, somewhere in there. And this is all on 14 count Aida. So I'll go this way. The A is for apples, B for the basket. Some of the quilts have the letter in them. There's the X, you can see. Yeah, so that's this one. Another one that I still have. Just want to put this down so it doesn't fall. I'll do this one first. This is another piece This one is a little girl hanging her quilt out. I did this one in I have written at the back of here, 1997. And I did this one for my aunt, Margaret, who I talk about a lot. She was a quilter. And I did it, and I sent it down to her, and she framed it in this frame, which is really coming apart. Actually, I probably should put I'm just going to pause this for a minute and try something different so I don't get so much reflection. Just hold on one sec. Well, that didn't do any good. I tried closing the blinds, but it didn't make any difference. So the little girl on the quilt is from this book, or the little girl hanging the quilt. This is Country Cross-Stitch Designs by Ellen Stouffer, and I have a few of her books, which are really nice patterns in here. The book is totally falling apart. This is the piece here, and if you can notice, the part that I did was just that middle part. The little girl hanging up her quilt is just in the middle. I actually love the whole thing. I wouldn't mind redoing it and doing the whole piece because it's just a wonderful piece. And this a lot of her designs, you can do that. I have a small that I'm doing this, just this part here. I'm just turning it into a little small ornament. And her designs are that way. You can, even this, oh, the whole thing just fell apart. Even this could be a small, or this could be a small. You can do a lot with her. Here she has pulled out a little motif and made a small out of it. So her houses are great too in this book. There's really wonderful houses. So that was that one. And my book just disintegrated. And then I have this one, which I totally love. This is also done on 14. All of these are done on 14 count data. This one came out of a book, a different book. Came out of this book, A Treasury of Needlecrafts. There's all kinds of different needlecrafts in this book. And the one that I did is called, I had it marked here and I lost it. Again, there's some really nice patterns in here. Home is where your heart is. It's this one right here. And I think that one is done on fiddler's cloth, 14 count fiddler's cloth. So 14 count was the norm way back then. And I also have a bunch of magazines that I collected at that time. They were put out by Better Homes and Gardens. Yeah, Better Homes and Gardens. And they were called Cross Stitch Christmas. And they would put out one of these every season. I only collected the Christmas ones because that was what I was interested in. But most of the patterns in here also are for 14 count data. And so, again, things like this, which I'm actually going to make this year. I've looked at this a million times. I can't tell you, since this book here is from 2004. I've looked at this particular pattern so many times since 2004. I can't tell you how many times. And in these books, there are many Santas like this that they've made into a figure. They also have the pattern for the picture. You could have a picture, but they also turn the picture into a figure, standalone figure, which I just love. This one I'm going to do because I know somebody that I would like to gift this to this Christmas. So I hope to start this in the not too far future. Again, all 14 count Aida. So what I did, where this is going, is for a long time now, I watch a lot of different floss tubes, and I absolutely adore the work that everybody's doing, and I acknowledge where cross stitch is now. But I'm 67 years old, like I said. Maybe I didn't say it. And I've seen the progression of cross stitch over the years, and I get a little upset, I guess, maybe with myself, because sometimes, you know, they never ever mention Aida, which is fine. Sorry about that. They never mention Aida. I know Aida is mostly for full coverage now, and that's good. But when you get to be my age, you might have trouble seeing, and that's where I am right now. I'm having a really difficult time working on linen. I actually can't work on linen. I just can't see it. And I have all kinds of magnifiers, but I just can't see it. So I have gone back to Aida. I've gone back to 18 count Aida, which seems to be actually really good for my eyes. I can see it with magnifiers. And I'm toying with the idea of going back to doing some 14 count Aidas, because I have patterns like some of these that are on 14 count, and they are looking beautiful on 14 count. I'll just show you a few more. I have this book here, Frosty Folks, and it has a lot of things that I could turn into ornaments in here. I'm just trying to find you a picture that's not a pattern. Here we go. These are on 14 count Aida. I have made this one, and it turned out beautiful on 14 count. I actually am thinking of maybe doing these on perforated paper now, because I think they would look really cute on perforated paper, but I might make them as pillows too. I don't know. And going back to this other book here, there's a couple of roly-polies in here. They call them roly-poly Santas. That would be perfect. These are on 14 count Aida. I did a few of these on 14 count Aida, and I made them into little pillows, not square ones. I made them into round pillows. I might do some of these on perforated paper, which is 14 count as well. And then I also, years ago, I bought a kit of Santa faces, and I did all of them. And I gave them away as a wedding gift to a couple. These were all done on 14 count Aida, and they were beautiful. And I would like to make another set. Now, I could do these on linen. They'd be much smaller, probably, or maybe not. I don't know. But I'm going to do them on 14 count, because why would I not? So I have been sort of beating myself up about the fact that I can't work on linen, because the linens out there are fantastic. And, you know, nowadays I get a feeling that it's more about the fabric than it is about the stitching itself. And I feel a little intimidated sometimes when I'm watching some of these floss tubes, because I know I can't do that. So, but I've sort of gone around this issue for a while, and I've decided to be kind to myself and not worry about this, because I can stitch what I can stitch. And you can't actually tell me that, you know, when you go into someone's home and you see a beautiful piece, you think, oh, that's really nice. I really like that. Most people, unless you're a stitcher, most people aren't going to walk up to your piece and say, that's lovely, but it would really look much nicer on 32 count linen. Who's going to do that? So that's what I'm thinking right now. I'm going to be nicer to myself and not struggle so much, because I have been really struggling with some of the pieces that I have been working with small linen. Having said that, I do have a few full coverage pieces on 14 count that I have not finished and I would really like to finish. And I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to show them to you now. Here's one. This is called Summer Symphony, and it's a Bucella counted cross stitch kit. I got this back in the 80s, and I love it. Actually, I would love to live in this house. Anyway, I got quite far with it, and then I ran out of one color, and I've had a hard time matching that color. And this is where I got with it. It's a beautiful piece on 14 count. So I think what I'm going to do, I really want to finish this because I have always loved this piece. I think I'm just going to, I mean, really, if you look at it, there's so much color going on in here. Who's going to notice that maybe the green is a little different? I'm just going to pull a green and keep on going. So that's one piece. And I have all the floss for it. Another piece, excuse my crunching here. This is another pattern. It's a full coverage 14 count Ada called Winter Wonderland by Angela Pullen. It's a beautiful, beautiful piece. And I bought this in 1982 from Crafts Canada. I remember the day that I bought it because I have a picture of my mom when she was a young woman with a coat on, much like this. It's a black and white, so I don't know what color her coat was. But she had the hood up like this, and she was standing on a riverbank up against a tree, and you see the snow and the river behind her, and she had a coat like this. And the minute I saw this pattern, I knew I was going to get it home and work on it. And I call this one Erna for my mom. And this is where I'm at. Again, it's gorgeous, and I got to get it finished. And then this one, Bottom of the Sixth by Norman Rockwell. Love this piece. I started this in 1980. No, it was probably about 1992. I started this for my husband's wall in his office. That was before he was a pastor. Now he's a pastor and he doesn't want this in his office anymore, although he does love it. He doesn't really want it in his office. So my son now is a grown man, 35 years old, and he wants it in his office, and he has reminded me several times, Mom, when am I going to get my pictures? So I have got to get going on this one. And this is where I'm at with this. I have to pull all this out because I used 2 strands and it's only supposed to be 1. But do you see? Maybe it's not as noticeable. Yes, it is. This piece is why I quit using hoops. You see this dirt line here? Must be from the oils from my hands holding on to the hoop. I actually quit doing it because of that. But somebody said to me, get some Tide to Go, a Tide pen, and try it on there. And I never ever gave that thought. So the other day I ordered some. I could not find any Tide to Go in the store. But Amazon had it, so I got myself a couple of these, and I'm going to try it on that. But I'm going to finish the piece first and then try it, because now I stitch in hand. But when I stitch in hand, I'll show you what I have, but not quite yet. So that's another piece, full coverage, 14 count Ada, that I have to get done. So here we go. When I stitch in hand, this is on my left hand when this is what I hold my frames or my fabric with in my hand. And every so once in a while, I will throw this in the wash and give it a good wash, and I wear it. It was in an antique store, actually. There was only one glove. It's an old kind of glove that women used to wear to go to church or to go to dinner or anything like that. But it's perfect for that purpose. So yes, I have one glove, and that's what I use it for. So because of this, wanting to do this piece, and like I said, there's other Santas like this in these books. I have about 5 years of these Better Homes and Gardens Christmas cross stitch books. If you ever find them in a stash sale, pick them up because they have beautiful, beautiful things in there. Honestly, they're gorgeous images of the patterns are just amazing. Anyway, because of this, I went on the hunt for some 14 count Aida, and it's not all that easy to buy large quantities of it anymore. And I'm in the country. I'm not near shops. I'm not near Michael's or even needlecraft shops. I'm not near anything like that. So whatever I buy, I'm going to have to order online and pay shipping. And I'm getting tired of paying shipping where the shipping is more than the product is worth. You know, I mean, it's kind of gotten a little crazy. So I went on to Amazon. Don't judge me. And what I found was there was a shop on there, and I can't remember the name. I'll try and remember and put it in the link below. That sold 8 colors of Aida, 14 count Aida, fat quarters. So I bought these. So there's white, light blue, pink, navy, red, green, I guess an ivory and oatmeal kind of color. So I decided to get these because I want to do some ornaments too. And a lot of these books, a lot of these older books like this have a lot of ornaments in them for 14 count. So I have 14 count Aida coming out of my wazoo now, and I can stitch away to my heart content. And I have the fabric now that I need for that Santa, and I'm very, very happy. While I was on there, like I said, I have been struggling with my vision and stitching, and I'm doing a piece right now for summer camp, and I'm doing it on, I think it's 18 count Aida, and this is what I'm doing. It's let's put that up there, maybe it won't blow out so much. There we go. It's a heart with birds in it. And even this I'm struggling with. I'm having a really difficult time seeing it. And I have these. And you can replace, I have a whole box of the lenses, but I find these very heavy on my face. And when I ordered these well, I've had these about 4 years or so. When I ordered them, I wasn't paying attention. I ordered the ones that you require batteries for. And so when you put batteries in this, it pulls you on your face. It's so heavy on your face. And I just don't find these all that comfortable. So while I was on Amazon getting the Aida and the Tide to Go, I ordered these Mighty Sights. And wow, they are amazing. I'm going to show them to you. They have a little bag, carrying bag. These are chargeable. They have the little charging cord. It's just a spot for it in the bag, little charging cord. And they are like this. And there's a button here somewhere that you press. Where the heck are they? I could press it when I don't want it. Where is it? Ah, there it is. The lights aren't that great, but I don't really care about the lights. I have a really good lamp that I use. I don't need the brightness. I have a good bright lamp. I just need the magnifies. These you can put over top of your prescription glasses if you have prescription glasses, and they are 160 times your vision. So, and they're comfortable. They just feel like a pair of sunglasses on my face. So I've been working with these for a couple of days now, and they're really good. I have had no problem seeing. So maybe I will try linen now that I have something that I can see. But I do notice when I wear magnifiers of any kind for a while, my eyes really do get tired. So I think I'm just going to be kind to myself and stick to a higher count data instead of linen and wear these glasses. So, where did this get us? That's been my stitching journey. And as well as cross stitch, I am still doing my regular embroidery stitching journal, my daily stitching journal, which I absolutely have enjoyed so much doing. I never thought I would stick to it. Really, when I started it, I thought I will probably maybe do a month or two and then forget about it. But I have stuck. There's been a couple of weeks where I've been busy doing things and I've had a hard time doing every day. But if I don't stitch it, I draw on it what I want to stitch so that I know I can go back and do 2 days at one time if I have to. And those, at the end of June or probably beginning of July, I will show the update of the half of a year that I have done on those. And those are going to be turned into a quilt. I'm going to make a wall quilt out of those at some point. And as I'm stitching, I'm thinking about how I'm going to do the quilt. I could use a little bit of help from you with some suggestions as to how to put that all together, but that'll be in another video. So I hope you've enjoyed this little rambling of my past stitching journey. I've always loved to stitch, and as long as I can stitch, I will. And because I have a lot of old patterns, I think this would be a good point to do a little giveaway. I have some patterns that I would like to pass on and things that were given to me. I think it's time to move them on because I know I'm not going to do them. So I think we'll do that now. So the first one that I have to give away is a Stony Creek Classic Collection St. Nicholas. It's this one. Actually, he probably would be really good to turn into a standalone Santa. Now, let me see what the stitch count is on this. It doesn't say. Does it say? Doesn't really say. Anyway, if you want this, in the comment section, put the word classic in your comment if you want to be entered to win this one. This is Classic Stony Creek Collection St. Nicholas. So put the word classic in your comment if you want a chance at this one. I have another Santa. This is a Peggy Abrams Windswept Saint Nick. And it's a dimensions pattern. It's in color. If you would like a chance at this one, put wind in your comment, somewhere in your comment. And this one is a really old one. This would be a really great one on 14 count Ada, but you could convert this one as well. And it's called Morning Coffee by Susanna Denton. And it is this one here. It's a trapper and his mule drinking coffee. Trying to find where the other piece is. Here we go. So if you want a chance at this one, and this one is also in color. This is a used chart. Somebody gave this to me, and I know I'm never going to make it. So if you want this one, put mule someplace in your comment for this one. And then this one is another oldie. This is Forest Baby Collection, designs for cross stitch or needlepoint. You can do either. And it has quite a few in here. These are designed by Candy Martin. So there's these ones. And then there's all of these as well. There's owl, squirrels, fox. The fox is nice. Skunks. I think they're all in here. Yes, they are. So if you want a chance at this one, put the word animals, or no, put the word fox in if you want this one. So that's 4 different giveaways, and I will draw these in July, in my July video. Okay, well, I guess that's all I got to share with you this morning. So thank you very much for coming along, and happy stitching, everybody. And please like and share my videos and subscribe if you would like. I have a lot. I've got over 200 videos on my YouTube channel now, and there's lots of content of lots of different crafts on here. So if you want to join me for some future videos, please subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.